Bom dia,
we're in Estoril in Portugal for the grand finale of the 2015 VdeV season. The weekend is very busy with 2 races on the menu, 6 hours, then with the endurance Proto and the GT Tourism. The 2 titles are up for grabs, so we're expecting a huge and very spectacular battle. But before getting into the racing, let's get to know the 4.182 kilometre long Estoril circuit. Constructed in 1972, the Autodromo Fernando Pérez da Silva is located 30 kilometres from Lisbon near the Atlantic Ocean. Much transformed since its creation, the Estoril track has a very long pit lane straight and plenty of technical sections such as the corkscrew or the Ayrton Senna Parabolica. Laid out in the middle of the hills, the Estoril circuit, which hosted Formula 1 between 1984 and 1996, has plenty going for it. In other words, the circuit is perfect to round out the 2015 season. We start with the highlights with the GT Tourism and the final chapter in the battle between the Porsche IDEC #1 of the defending champions, Patrice and Paul Lafargue, and the Ferrari. We're approaching this weekend the way we approach all races. We won't say that it's here that all will be decided. We'll stay calm and do our jobs like normal. We're motivated to go and get the result we need to defend our title. We had luck on our side in the last round and put in a great race that allowed us back into the title battle. We're happy to be where we are, given what we've gone through. Well, at Vision, Jean-Paul Pagnier has won the title in the past, and that experience will certainly be an asset. His experience certainly, but that success is going back a bit now, as it was in 2007. Since then, we've been runners-up a bunch of times. At Estoril this year, we have a little lead, so it's true we're under less pressure than our friends, the Lafargues. 6 hours is a long time, and a lot can happen. The mechanical side of things will come into play. It's beautiful, but a demanding circuit. Anything can happen. We'll start calmly. On a quick track like Estoril, the duel will also be between the cars, Ferrari against Porsche. Who will come out on top? At Estoril, I admit we've always been a bit unlucky. Bizarre things have happened to us in the past years, so of course I hope this year it's our year, as it's about time. We need to put in a clean race. There'll be traffic as there are categories of cars and teams of varying ability, so we need to stay clean and make the most of this circuit at the wheel of a beautiful car. Compared to the Porsches, we're a bit handicapped when it comes to getting up to speed again. This car is made by Ferrari in accordance with the VdeV regulations. The base is a GT2 with an engine that takes petrol and an ABS that's adapted to those of our rivals in order to have more or less equivalent braking distances. The car performs well, our technical team have worked hard, and I think we should be able to give an excellent performance and answers to our friends at Porsche. And at IDEC, what do you have to say to Vision? Good luck and move over. What I mean is that we must respect fair play. They're good people at heart, and it would be nice for them to let us have the title. If it costs a meal, it costs a meal. And now to the qualifying session, taking place over an hour. The times of the 3 drivers are averaged out. The Ligier JSP3 of the Graf team excels, finishing a mere 1,000th of a second in front of the number 32 Ginetta of Team LNT. There's an LMP3 123 on the grid as the Ligier number 42 of Oak Racing is third, driven this weekend by Pierre Nicolet, Jacques Nicolet and Pierre Fillon, president of the Automobile Club de l'Ouest, here for a race in the VdeV. As for the title contenders, the Ferrari Vision number 2 starts 4th, 3 places better off than the Porsche IDEC number 1. The 30 cars entered this weekend for the GT Tourism race are on the starting grid, a 6-hour race with a 1.5 coefficient. Everything is possible when it comes to the title. We have to be prudent. In a 6-hour race, things are not decided on the opening lap, and the P3s are a little quicker. I find myself surrounded by them. I've always been one for crazy starts, and we'll see what happens, but we mustn't take too many risks either. Last year I started 4th and was first at the first corner, but that wasn't against the P3s. At IDEC, Dimitri Engelbert will take the start, and he needs to be careful as well. The cars are ready, the stakes are high. Here, the 2015 GT Tourism title will be decided. take the start in the company of Dimitri Engelbert, and look to the left of shot. The Ferrari Visium is in slow motion on the straight. First corner very tight. We're with Dimitri Engelbert, fourth after the start. At the front, the Ginetta number 32 has got the better of Ligier number 91. The two LMP3s seem well set to pull out a lead over the rest, with the peloton led by Pierre Nicolet in his Ligier number 42. But at the end of the first lap, the Ferrari Vision number 2 seems to have rediscovered its form, and Jean-Bernard Bouvet has already climbed to 6th behind the Ferrari number 51 and the Porsche number 1. Majestic braking from Bouvet at the end of the straight. He picks up 2 spots in a single corner. And on board with Engelbert, who has to act swiftly to avoid the Ferrari of Marco Zanutini. Up front, no problem for the lead duo. It's the Ginetta number 32 from the Ligier number 91. The two men followed by the Ferrari number 2. Bouvet pumped up after being runners-up in 2012 and 2014. Can Visium win this year in VdeV? Nicolas Berra, number 91, still putting the pressure on Frederick Blomstedt, number 32, with the Briton holding firm for now. In GTV2, the Porsche Almeris number 65 is 4th. Ledegar, Porsche Carrera Cup French champion in 2014, has come here specially to take part in the grand finale. What's good is that we're at a VdeV race. It's the last of the season and the level is very high. There are 30 cars out on track and there's a really big battle. Nobody's on holiday mode. It's very difficult to overtake because there are very good drivers and cars out there. It's a beautiful, legendary circuit. It's dangerous in places and the sensations are great. I love this circuit. The weather's on our side this year as well. Some cars are putting in their mandatory trip through the pit lane without stopping. That's in the VdeV regulations to ensure a level playing field. Well, back to the track with the Ginetta number 24, driven by Carl Brees. After starting 5th, the Briton has climbed in the standings, overtaking the Ferrari number 2 and the Ligier number 91 of Graf Racing, to move up to 3rd behind the number 32 and number 42, who are battling for the leads. The Ligier number 42 takes the lead from the number 32 Ginetta before the pit stops. Next, it's the Ginetta 24 and the Ligier 91, the Ferrari 2 and the Porsche 1. But a few laps later, the 24 takes command ahead of the number 32, 91, 2 and the Porsche number 1. The quintet separated by just a few seconds. Soon the leaders come into the pits. Dimitri Engelbert hands over to Paul Lafargue, and at Vision, Jean-Bernard Bouvet, succeeded by Jean-Paul Pagnier. Hydex Sports gets going again quickly, and the Michelin technicians adjust the tyres. Jean-Mathieu Baudin explains. Pricking the tyre means taking its temperature in order to see if the tyre has been used correctly and if the car is using the tyre in the right setup. And when it comes to pricking tyres, what advice does Michelin give on tyre pressure or other factors? Well, the advice is to keep the tyres as cold as possible so that they can gain in temperature, and of course target the right temperature so that the rubber can give its all. The temperature is important because if the tyre is used properly, there's a gap of at least 20 degrees Celsius between each side. The leaders are in the pits, and we catch up with Carl Brees when he gets out of his car.
It was a crazy start. I started P5, and obviously the first lap I was a little bit unsure how hard to push, but we had a good battle with some of the GT3 cars, and then after that I kind of got into a good rhythm. It was all our first time on this circuit and also in an LMP3 car, so really in at the deep end, and I think we've done a good job so far, and our pace is increasing throughout the weekend. We had a few problems. We lost the clutch on the drive-through, so yeah, it's going to be difficult to get away from the stops. But at the moment, touch wood, the car's going well, and we're P1, so it's really good.
After fuel and the mandatory run through the pits, the situation is much changed at the front of the race. The Ginetta number 24 still leads though, now in front of the surprising Ferrari AF course number 51. In the absence of Andrea Montemini, the Italians Marco Zanettini and Mario Cordoni do remarkable work. They're second in this race and first in the prestige standings. That despite the choking heat and a problem with the water system for Cordoni. In third is the number 42 Ligier, driven by Jacques Nicolet. A solid performance for Oak Racing. By way of contrast, it's hugely disappointing for the Graf team. A problem for the Ligier 91, and victory hopes going out of the window for the French. In terms of the title contenders, the Porsche IDEC number 1 is fourth in this race and in front of Vision, who have fallen to 7th after a 2-minute penalty inflicted on Jean-Paul Pagnier for speeding in a pit lane. If the race ends like this, then the title will go to the Ferrari number 2. The last lap for the Ginetta number 24, heading for victory after a perfectly controlled 6 hours of racing. The British team finish in front of the Ferrari AF course number 51, who finish in a superb second on the demanding Estoril circuit. Joy for Team LNT of Lawrence Tomlinson, winners in Portugal.
It was a great race, and you know, it's a great achievement because we've never been to the circuit, never driven the car. We just kept doing the laps. The car was fantastic. Ginetta's built a brilliant car, and the two teammates absolutely superb.
In their first VdeV race, White, Belshore and Breeze win from Cordoni, Zanettini, and then comes Pierre Fion, accompanied by Jacques and Pierre Nicolet. But the big winners on the day are Vision with 3 wins and 5 podiums. They are the 2015 VdeV champions. I'd like to thank Vision. I've been with the team for 5 years and chasing the title for 5 years. Everyone's worked well all the time. We have a great team across the board. We pulled a few hairs from Jean-Paul's head after his mistake, but we're really happy and we thank you again. On now to the endurance Proto, and we discover the circuit in the company of David Zollinger, the Palmyre driver and 4-time VdeV champion. Come on board with me for this lap of Estoril. This is the longest straight of the season. We reach speeds of 250 to 260 kilometers an hour at times in the race. We brake about 100 meters out here and go down through the gears into second. It's important to be clean through the first corner. Then you move up into fourth and the second corner very quickly. Out of that, you are almost flat out in the fourth. You have to go down a couple of gears for the third corner. You have to be careful and clean and then get back on the gas to come into the hairpin. That conditions how you fare in the back straight in second. Then you accelerate progressively through the gears and up into sixth. This is the second of what I would call the safe overtaking zones on the circuit. Then it's onto the sixth corner, a sweeping left-hander that you take in third. You come into it centrally and come out of it wide and trying to retain as much speed as possible. In the fourth and fifth and into corner number 7. Here you accelerate again before coming off it a touch in order to get into the corkscrew.
Jusqu'au tire-bouchon.
Here you need to clip the curb on the inside. Then comes the big parabolica, which ideally you take flat out and come out of it at about 200 kilometers an hour, giving you the speed to come into this downhill section, which lasts for more than a kilometer. Still looking to brake about 100 meters out down there. This 23rd VdeV season finishes at Estoril, a legendary circuit that delights all the endurance Proto drivers. It's a beautiful circuit, great. I've got a great team. I'm good here and you need to be calm. It's a very beautiful circuit, we all love it. It's abrasive and tough on the tyres, and what makes it special is that it's great in terms of conditions, even though they can change rapidly. It makes the racing very interesting. That's IDEX Sport. The number 17 is currently second in the standings after racing in GT Turismo the previous day. Patrice and Paul Lafargue are now gunning for the Proto 2015 title. Having already raced here could help us, especially at Estoril, as there are lines that we used in Porsche that can help us in Proto. That's good, and anyway, with cars like these, it's impossible to say no. It's just pure happiness. Overall, the Norma number 30 of CD Sport has the advantage before this final race. Let's try to find out more on the strategy the various title contenders are employing. Jean-Ludovic will take the start and will do his drive-throughs, his penalties. Once he's done his drive-throughs, we'll have time to make up. Time will try to make up over the race as a whole. He'll do a good stint, as always, and then Thomas and myself will pick up position by position what we will have at the start. Above all, we'll base ourselves on what the competition is up to. I think that's the goal for this final race.
You can set up the car in the right way. At Estoril, I think traction is very important. So if we achieve to get the right setup, we can probably see if we can finish top 3, something like this.
We're not putting ourselves under any undue pressure. It's true what's at stake is great, and for us, frankly, it's already good to be in the position we're in. So we're not putting pressure on ourselves. We want to give our best and trouble the others.
I'm really happy, and I'm looking forward to the last race, and anything can happen there.
We're fourth in the championship, and we were leading until the last race at Magny-Cours. We had a few problems there, and now we need to make up for that and do the best race we possibly can with Jacques and Nicolas and all the CD Sport team. We'll do everything we can. Our season has been inconsistent. When things worked for us, we were right at the top, and we were right at the bottom when we had problems. Here our goal is to at least finish in the top 5. Our result will depend on others. We can't control their performances, and we'll see what happens come Sunday evening. And here we are. In 6 hours, the champion in the endurance Proto VdeV will be known. On the starting grid, the drivers are ready for the battle. In qualifying, the Norma number 8 of TFT picked up a 6th pole position in 7 races. Alongside them will be the Ligier number 35 of Ultimate. The title contenders struggle. The CD Sport number 30 and number 33 start 9th and 11th respectively. The 41 of Palmyre begins in 18th, and the big surprise of the day is the number 17. After suffering damage in a qualifying accident, the Ligier JS53 will go off in last position. The task will be difficult for IDEX Sport. One of our drivers went a bit wide, and the grass at the edge of the track is waterlogged, so the car got stuck and suffered damage. We've put it back together again, though. You could say we're starting with a new car. That's nice. The green flag is waved, and away we go for the final race of the year. Into the first corner, and it's Jean-Baptiste Lahaye leading from Alain Ferté and Gregory Striebig. Patrice Lafargue is making slow but steady progress and has already picked up 4 spots. At the end of the first lap, the Norma 8 comes into the stands for one of its mandatory stops. The 35 of Jean-Baptiste Lahaye still holds the race lead from the 77 and 67. But after just 1 hour of racing, huge disappointment for the leaders. The Ligier 35 has to come back into the pits because of fuel pressure problems. On the track, the battle rages for first place between the Ligier of Graf Racing's 29 and the Ligier IDEX Sport Racing number 15 of William Cavalles. A Proto race which has already witnessed much drama in the opening stages, something that's happened all year and which delights Eric van der Wever. It's always like that, because at the last race seen at Magny-Cours, I think there were 2 tenths between the first and the second, and that's extraordinary at the end of 6 hours of racing. We saw the same thing in GT yesterday. That's what motor racing is all about. The VdeV series keeps evolving, and in 2015, is your overall assessment a positive one? Yes, it's positive because the grids are filled up. In GT, we now have 30 cars, and lots of Porsches want to come back next season. Next year, we're expecting 17 LMP3s, and as we know, we'll have more GTs. That means we're likely to average 35 cars per weekend. That's great. At CD Sport, the tension is palpable. 2 hours from the finish, the number 33 of Danielu, Maulini and Wolf is 11th and a lap down on their teammates in the Norma 30. Caught in a sandwich between the 2 cars from Claude Degremont's team, the IDEX Sport Racing 17 steadily climbing through the field. It must finish in front of the 30 of Beau, Besançon, Akari and Foubert to stand a chance of the title. Just like in the pros, the battle is intense in prestige. For now, the advantage on the track and in terms of the championship is with the Norma 6 of Bazo, Thirion and Rion over the 67 of Ludovic Andre, Gregory and Remy Striebig. After the mandatory pit stops and refueling, the race order has changed slightly. The TFT number 8 is back in the lead from the Graf Racing 29 of Claret, Perroy and Trouillet. The 17 has made a heroic charge. The number 17 has made a heroic charge. The IDEX Sport Racing is now third, and we can go on board with them. CD Sport number 30 is adapting to the strategy of its rivals. After starting 9th, Akari, Bolbes-Sanson and Foubert seem in control and are heading for the Proto 2015 title. No miracles, on the other hand, for the 41 of Palmyre here at Estoril, partnered, as at Paul Ricard, by Swiss woman Natasha Ganschnan. Jens Pettersen is 7th and is highly unlikely to repeat the podium finish from the 12 hours of Castellet. The German had a mathematical chance of taking the title, but will have to wait for that now. History repeating itself for the TFT team after their win last month at Magny-Cours. Everything going wonderfully for the team run by Tony Pereira. The Proto number 8 heading for its 3rd win of the season, and it's done. No mistakes from the Norma TFT. A perfect strategy from start to finish. They started from pole and won by a lap from the Ligier 29 of Graf Racing, and 2 laps from the Ligier 17 of IDEX Sport Racing. On the podium, having started from last position. Alain Ferté has just parked his car. Just like last year, we won the last 3 rounds, and that's great. That's a 2nd in a row here, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy for the TFT team, and of course, for my teammates. The Michelin tyres held up really well. I'd like to thank Eric for this wonderful VdeV series. It's great. Thanks to finishing 4th, the Norma number 30 of CD Sport wins the Endurance Prototype 2015 Championship, the conclusion to a perfect season for Claude Degremond's team. Everyone did great work, all the staff, Claude Degremond, and it makes me very happy for the team because CD Sport is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Bravo to Kevin Bolbes-Sanson, Jean-Ludovic Foubert and Mathieu Rosereau, my engineer. And so to the final podium of 2015 in the VdeV Endurance Series, Vincent Capilliere and the TFT team on the top step of the podium, but they have to concede the title to Thomas Akari, Kevin Bolbes-Sanson and Jean-Ludovic Foubert. And that's how the 2015 VdeV season finished. We hope you enjoyed it. We thank you for watching all season long. We'll see you in 2016 for a season that promises to be even more hotly contested.